Double rifles, like the one that we're looking at this week from Woodward, have a very specific purpose. Typically, they're made for dangerous game hunting. You get 2 shots quick, and then you have to reload.
How many firearms can you say have a direct tie to the Fab Four? John, Paul, George, Ringo, the Beatles. I can only think of one, and that's from the White Album and the continuing ballad of Bungalow Bill. And I think the lyric goes, and Bill went tiger hunting with his elephant and guns, and in case of accident, he always took his mom. Well, when you go tiger hunting with your elephant and guns, it's important to have the right gun. And in the case of Bungalow Bill and a number of British aristocracy before him, the likelihood is he took a double gun with him to go hunt his tigers from an elephant with a gun. And the Woodward that we're looking at is just one of those guns.
The double rifle we're looking at today is a 500 3-inch. Now, 500 3-inch was suitable for tiger in some of the heavier plains game. It was a very, very popular round. There were a number of other 500 caliber rounds, 500 3¼ 500 3½. This particular one fired about a 340 grain bullet with about 135 grains of powder. Gave you a substantial 2,000 plus foot-pounds of powder out of a black powder round. This was called an express round. Now, the term express is interesting in itself because this goes back to the early days. I believe it was invented by Purdy, when the most powerful, fastest-moving thing was a train, an express train. And so they came up with the term express rifle, actually for some muzzleloading guns, and then it carried over into some of the more powerful firearms.
The Woodward that we're looking at came about at a time when double rifles were really coming into their own. Double-barrel shotguns had been around since they figured out how to glue 2 barrels together, and to do that. But a double rifle is a different cat indeed, because you have to do what they call regulate the barrels. The right barrel has to put a projectile in the same hole that the left barrel is going to put it in at 100 yards or whatever you have it regulated out to. So you have to be very careful about that. It is a science. It's something to be able to zero a rifle. It's something else to zero and regulate a double gun, a double rifle.
The Woodward that we're looking at has a couple of elements that show that it was built within a transition period in terms of commercial gun design. It's got an under-lever locking mechanism that was patented by Henry Jones in 1859. It's an incredibly strong breech mechanism, but the problem was that it was slow. And so in order to actually load and fire the gun, you had to cock the exposed hammer spurs. You had to undo this lever at the bottom of the action, and that allowed you to hinge the action open. And that could be dangerous in a hunting situation, which is what necessitated there being an extra shot. That's what popularized the double rifle well into the 20th century as a dangerous game arm. The exposed hammer spurs of this Woodward double rifle were also kind of becoming anachronistic by the 1870s. More and more gun designs as we get closer to the 20th century they don't have exposed hammers. They have internal hammers that are cocked when you open the action. So that is an older design. And then, of course, just the cartridge itself. Eventually, you have the Nitro Express cartridges, and that is what happens in the smokeless powder days. So, we're looking at a design here that really is kind of the golden age, the tail end of the British Raj in the 19th century.